Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of The Last of Us. The series premiere, season one, episode one, has literally just finished. We are hopping on here. I think we are both feeling a wide array of different emotions. There's a fungus among us. I have
Okay.
been waiting to tell that joke for months. You're all welcome.
No, this was a really great premiere. I mean, full disclosure, I've played the game before, so I kind of know what's going on, but I mean, it was a long time ago. And I'm an old lady, so I don't remember everything about it, but I thought I'd just let you guys know, but I'm not here to compare the show to the game. Normally here, if you're new to the channel, I'm Jess, this is Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
We like to not read the books of shows, beforehand or play the games of shows beforehand, stuff like that. But, there's no way to get around this because I played it as soon as it came out.
Yeah, I know a little bit of the story. I have not played the games. I just feel like for us, in general, it's there are probably going to be other places that are going to be like this scene is different from the games. This is why I'm not happy about it. And it's like, okay, well you can go be unhappy about it over there.
Yeah, listen, I thought about replaying the game. I mean, normally, like I said, that's not something that we do here, but I am so deep into Elden Ring right now. I couldn't stop.
You're too busy dying over and over again playing
Over
something
and
else.
over and over again.
Yeah.
Evil, wonderful game.
Well, we're going to get into everything with The Last of Us premiere. There's a lot of stuff that worked, but before we go further, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. We will be here after every episode, breaking it down, talking about some of the big twists, how much this is either exciting and or horrifying us. I'm sure it will be doing a little bit of both.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, we've got a lot of stuff coming up here at the channel. Mandalorian's coming up soon. Snowfall's coming up soon. Power Book 2 and Yellow Jackets. I
Yeah.
mean, hit that subscribe button and follow us over on Instagram at Matt and Jess TV.
I just want to take everyone real quick into a window into my brain watching the first 30 minutes of this episode where, I may not know a lot about The Last of Us, but I know it's the story of Joel and of Ellie. So
Mhm.
seeing, Joel's adventures with Sarah in this past time frame, I was just sitting here the whole time being like, oh no, oh no, oh
Oh,
no.
they did such a wonderful job with the Sarah character and making me really invested in her so that by the time we get to Joel 20 years later, I'm so invested in him because I was so invested in her that I feel that hurt. They did such a good job with that. 10 out of 10.
I think the what made this so strong was sort of like really assessing the panic and the chaos of sort of the beginning of the post-apocalypse, if you want to call it that,
Mhm.
because I think we've all probably either seen The Walking Dead or like 200
Yeah.
other zombie related things, and this feels different. Like it actually feels more real. Maybe it's a part of it's that, the infected aren't just walking around being like the whole time.
Okay, listen, a lot of us are all zombied out. And listen, I know that they're not zombies, but sort of the same idea of the infected
Yeah.
or zombies or walkers or anything sort of in that group of people who are not being controlled by themselves, kind of mindless, being controlled by something else, whether it's their desire to feed, the fungus, whatever it is that's going on. But even though a lot of us, me included, had been really zombied out, I mean, I really enjoyed The Walking Dead, but that's the last few seasons, like, I was just kind of like, I've had enough of zombies for right now. But they've done a really good job with this. It reminds me a lot of the show 20 or the movie 28 Days Later, for any of you who have watched that, where it's like, fast zombies. And that was always kind of my issue with The Walking Dead, where it was like, yeah, there was sometimes they would surprise you, but they were so slow walking that you could kind of deal with it. But 20 days later, man, everything, the infected was so fast and so quick that it was like, it felt like a real threat every single second you were outside. And that's what this feels like. Like, I could feel it in my chest the whole way through, where I was just like, oh my God, they're so fast.
I think another just and not to just sit here and hate on The Walking Dead because it had its moments, but there are a lot of Walking Dead episodes and seasons that are just like We're walking somewhere else here. Oh, here's a new
Yeah.
community.
Oh, let's go on a supply
Yeah.
run. It was just kind of like they needed to make that a little bit shorter. I'm sorry, Walking Dead fans, but I'm not sorry because they needed to make that shorter.
Well, what makes I think this work really well is, after we get past the 20-year time jump and we see Joel on the other side, it's like
Mhm.
they've already established the world. We're not having to wander around to various patches of communities or whatever else. We sort of see right away, okay, this is who Joel is now. This is Teth. Here's how they're working together. We have Fedra. We had the Fireflies. We sort of have like these organizations that are, so we already kind of have a pretty fully formed world, and I'm sure it's going to expand outward from here, but it is not like we're just sort of wandering around, with hands over our eyes and just sort of being like, what are we about to see?
Yeah, and it's interesting because the show started like back in the 60s with this, guy talking about this potential thing that could happen with this fungus and that there would never be a cure and there was no way to stop it, no way to prevent it, and we're all doomed kind of thing. And then here enters Ellie. And what I was really happy about was that they didn't spell it out in this first episode, but they have spelled out enough
Yeah.
where she's this very important cargo, if you will, that Joel has to get somewhere else. And the reason why is we learned that she had been infected weeks before, and this is normally something that takes effect very quickly and has ravaged everything, but not with her. So I mean, right away there's just, we're moving into something where like maybe she's the cure, or maybe she can help explain what's going on. There's something very special about that.
I am Last of Us ignorant, and even me, like at the end of the episode when they showed that big reveal of her being infected, I was just like, "You the cure. That's your purpose." And you know what?
For sure. The minute she was just like three weeks ago, this happened 3 weeks ago. I'm like, okay, so this is the purpose.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm cool with that. I'm cool with sort of having an idea of knowing that's where we're going because, that is
Yeah.
another issue with a lot of other zombie related things. See, I'm not just lumping in Walking Dead, a lot of them in general, it's just like the world is over, everyone's infected, everyone's gonna die. And it's like, you know what? I want a little bit of hope. Like, I'm sure this show is gonna tear me apart from the inside out over the course of it, but it's like, I still want like that tiny, tiny glimmer. It's like, oh, maybe there's a way to make things better. Maybe it is you, Ellie, you foul-mouthed young child
Oh,
who is
man.
overly aggressive.
I loved her on Game of Thrones. I love her here. I saw when she was first cast that there were people on the internet that were complaining about it. I don't know what you guys were complaining
Yeah.
about. She's fantastic and she's great in this role.
I have no idea who they would have cast who would have been as good as her in this. Cause like, yeah, like her delivery is great, her attitude is great. Also, Pedro Pascal, are you now at a point in your career where it is like on your writer where you are required to play characters like doing fetch quests with somebody
I
else?
know.
Is this all it is for you now?
Yeah, it really is. Just bring this person here, bring Baby Yoda over here, bring Ellie over here. I'm fine with it. Listen, normally I'm not really into the fetch quests or
Yeah.
escort quests, but I really loved The Last of Us.
Yeah, no, I think the casting for this first episode is really good and, really on the nose. I mean, I think what's going to be interesting and sort of watching it moving forward is
Mhm.
like this show is such a specific world. Can you take people like, we already do know Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, and you guys were
Mhm.
able to make them believable. And I'm not just looking at them like thinking of how I know them from like other stuff. Like Nick Offerman is on this show later this season. Am I just going to see post-apocalyptic Ron Swanson?
Oh
Like
no.
I'm like a tiny bit worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, just overall the aesthetic of the show and how they really made it feel like a wasteland. I mean, even the choice of music with that Depeche Mode song at the end. Oh my God. Every element of the show has come together in a way that really makes me feel like I'm in this world.
It's a really excellent sort of retelling of what it means to be of a video game franchise. And this is where I'm going to get on a soapbox for a minute because I've seen some reviews out there that have
Mhm.
sort of been like, this elevates the video game genre. And
Okay.
just shut up. Like, really, I am really sick and tired of everyone just dumping on video games as an inferior mode of entertainment just because a lot of people don't know how to adapt them and they screw them up and they make them awful on TV because they think they're somehow better than them. Like, that doesn't mean that you can't create great video game adaptations. This is proof.
No, absolutely. I mean, The Witcher is a great show as well. There are shows out there that can do it. Yes, there are shows that have tried to adapt video games that has worked out. But it doesn't have to be across the board. And yes, this show does prove that.
I think the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about, and this is just one episode in, I think this is a really, really strong first episode,
Mhm.
but they're gonna have to find a way to kind of constantly balance out some genres and find a way to give a little bit, like we had a little bit of hope with Ellie and just sort of her potentially being the cure in this episode, but there needs to be something like that in some upcoming episodes because if it's too grim and too sad all the time, it's gonna get a little bit tough.
No, I agree. This is what I'm liking about this show more than I was liking about The Walking Dead. They had sort of some moments in The Walking Dead where it was like, oh, there's a potential cure, there's a potential something, and it was just kind of drug out. But here it is right away that's like, okay, yes, things are very bleak and they're very bad. However, right away there's Ellie, and there is the potential that this could be fixed for the people who are left.
I think this is a really, really good foundation. And as this season goes along, I think we'll probably be able to talk more about, choices and fork in the road moments of like, is Joel doing the right thing? Is Ellie doing, but because like we're still at a point where we don't even, well, I don't really know Joel's end game in all of this. Like, I don't really know what he's trying to get out of everything right now. He's just a desperate, sad man.
He just wants to know that Tommy is doing okay, and that's also the tough thing about what's going on with this character. He wants to know that Tommy's doing okay. Tommy's been like not responsive for 3 weeks now. Like, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, where is he? And he contacts every day. Okay, I understand why Joel's starting to freak out here, but the idea that there might actually be like a working car at the end of this whole quest to bring Ellie where she needs to be, I mean, that's valuable beyond belief in this world.
If Joel didn't give us just the car, there really is like just a hilarious irony here where it's like Ellie saved the entire human race. Joel, car.
Listen, I kind of understand. It works out. Ellie will hopefully save the world, but at the same time, he'll get the car and maybe he'll be able to get to Tommy. I understand. Listen, this is a type of world where family and getting to keep anyone in your family around is like, it's just not a thing, right? So the idea that he can still have Tommy and find Tommy, help Tommy, I mean, family's still family, even in this kind of world.
There's one thing I'm going to cling to from watching this first episode. I'm going to believe in my mind that the dog was okay when they ran away and Sarah couldn't bring them inside. You guys have done enough other sad things to me. The dog was fine.
No, I believe that as well. I don't, people have been telling me to watch John Wick forever, but I cannot watch something where the dog dies. I'm not into it.
No. Okay. Well, we'll be back to discuss more of The Last of Us moving forward. So hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you here next time.